Activists have called for a day of rage and are using social networking sites like Facebook to mobilize support. Although it's difficult to estimate how many Saudis could take part in protests, there are three main population centres in the vast Arabian Peninsula state where demonstrations could emerge. The capital Riyadh, with a population of more than 4 million. The main port city of Jeddah, with a population of more than 2 million. And the Shia Muslim areas of the eastern province, which sits on much of the vast reserves of oil in the kingdom. So let's take a look at some of the main demands of the protesters. They're calling for political reform. They want the Consultative Council to be elected rather than appointed. Setting up a constitutional monarchy, a demand that led to the arrest of activists in 2003 and 2004. And they want political prisoners, mainly Shias, to be released. And the Shia minority want equal social and political rights. Well, in an attempt to avoid unrest, King Abdullah unveiled a massive social welfare package worth billions of dollars. But many critics see this as bribery, a way perhaps to buy people's silence. So what exactly is the king offering? Well, the package includes $37 billion worth of extra benefits, targeting education and job creation. He's given all state employees a 15% pay rise. And there'll be an increase in the cash available for Saudi housing loans. Well, for more on this, I'm joined by our guests from London, AlJazeera Al-Khamis, a campaigner for Saudi Human Rights Centre. Also from London, Mai Yamani, author of a book, Changed Identities, the Challenge of the New Generation in Saudi Arabia. And joining us on the phone from Jeddah, Khalid Al-Maina, Editor-in-Chief of the English language Daily Arab News. Welcome to the programme. Mai Yamani in London, let me start with you, if I may. This is Saudi Arabia's worst nightmare, isn't it? I mean, the arrival of the new Arab awakening, as they're calling it, an insurrection in the kingdom. How worried is the House of Saud about the unrest across the region and right on its doorstep?
The wave of revolutions that has come in the region, and since the awakening in Tunis at the beginning of this year, obviously has shaken the Al Saud rulers to the core, because they have usually used their methods, which are oil money, to bribe the population, as we have seen last month when the king offered or promised $37 billion, in other words, to quieten the people. And we usually see the use of force and the security forces crushing the demonstrations. We know that in Saudi Arabia, demonstrations are illegal, punishable by imprisonment and flogging, and there has been a reminder to do this. The problem now is that whether it's the use of the sword is limited and dull and outdated. It's not going to meet the demands on the new challenges that we are facing today.
Okay.
The challenges from Twitter and from that they have not really grasped the need to have reform, to have real constitution, and to have the people are asking for dignity and for constitutional monarchy now.
OK, let's put that point to Khalid Al-Maina. He's on the phone from Jeddah. Khalid Al-Maina, how worried is Saudi Arabia over the growing dissent in the country and the prospect of these uprisings?
Well, I think I would agree that there is an Arab awakening. I would agree that young people in the world, in the Arab world, are becoming restless. We are part of the Arab world. I see things changing. I see since January 25th, 25, a new buzz all over the Arab world. And as I said, Saudi Arabia is part of the Arab world. Young people now talk openly of, trying to be part of a decision-making process. Whatever level it is, their goals are different, their visions are different. And they're not even listening. In my own family, young people don't listen to me anymore. So I think there is a change all around. And it's important that those people who oversee the affairs of the states in the Arab world, including the Gulf and in Saudi Arabia, realize that there is a new constituency out down there. and these people should be listened to and their voices should be heard.
Abdulaziz Al-Khamis, is that correct? Young people want to be part of this democratic decision-making process. I mean, more than 17,000 people have already backed a call on Facebook to hold 2 demonstrations this month. How big is the problem for the House of Saud?
Yes, it's true. And what we observe in the demands on Facebook or on Twitter and other websites, they asking for change in the way how the Al Saud ruling the country. The demands is concentrate on the root out the corruption, and achieve the justice and equality, equitable distribution of wealth, and people wanting to participate and share the power and to have a self determination through elected Shura Council. They have a constitutional kingdom and whole chapter to the authorities, modernization of the state and its institutions, and to have a freedom, media freedom and other things. I think the new generation have a demand is with the new demands. The problem is the government is facing all of these demands by the old tools, and it will not work. They need a revolutionary way of thinking inside the Al Saud family, not only in the government.
Okay, all right. Let's bring in back Ma Yamani in London to open this out a little bit. Ma Yamani, you talked about the Arab awakening. I want to just raise the issue, if I can, of contagion, because that's quite important, isn't it? I mean, there are reports that King Abdullah told the Bahraini authorities next door that if they don't crush their own Shia revolt, his forces will. How much of a threat is the dissent in Bahrain to the House of Saud, do you think?
The dissent in Bahrain is a real threat to the Saudi monarchy, basically, as we know, because of the Shia in the eastern province who are related to the Shia Bahraini, and they are around the border. Now, this has been a serious problem for the Al Saud, as in they had continued the politics of discrimination, severe discrimination against the Shia, who have been asking for reform. And if there is trouble in Bahrain or in, they're tied by the umbilical cord. If there is trouble in Saudi Arabia, Eastern Province, then it can expand. There are no more borders. The borders are open. Borders of ideas are open. Saudi Arabia is also in the south, has Yemen. And Yemen, again, there are the movements of the people, the tribes, the ideas. So that's another threat down the south. So the ruling family are in Saudi Arabia are faced with the outside influence and this upheaval that is